What's up, everybody on YouTube? How you all doing? Um, this is just gonna be a quick video. Um, this is a video mainly directed towards guitar players, musicians, bands, one-man projects, uh, anything in the category of music. This is pretty much for anyone in that category. Um, 1 second. Let me take a sip. Mm. Okay. Topic is going to be to mix and master an album yourself or to take it to a studio to have it mixed and mastered. I'm going to go with the second option. And here's why. If you're recording an album and you want your best work possible on that album, you want something that you are going to play live and you are going to rehearse. You want it to be good quality, not just the sound, but music itself. You want the music itself to be really high quality. You want it to be at your best. It's very important to get your music mixed and mastered professionally because here's why. You can't just throw together an album in 30 days, okay? I guess you can, but the question is that something you're gonna want to play for others in person while that is playing? Probably not. And here's why. Because 30 days of putting together an album would mean some things would have been rushed and you wouldn't have taken the time to sit there and A and B certain parts on whatever device you're using. Let's say you're using an 8-track recorder, a 16-track recorder, or even a 24-track, right? You want certain parts to stand out. You want to edit certain parts so you can add flavor and dynamic. You don't want it to be just one long song that includes the same parts over and over again. You want to add elements of a flavor to enhance the songwriting abilities in the song. And so I'm going to go with the second option also because if you have work that you have spent years on not really knowing what to do, if you take it and mix and master it in a studio, they're going to know what to do with it. They're going to be like, this is a cool interlude for a song. This is a cool outro. Or this can be looped to create a song. You just never know. So my advice is always have it mixed and mastered professionally. Make it so it's something that you want to listen to yourself. Make it so it's not grating to your own ears and not missing elements, missing dynamics. Make it so it's something that you would want to listen to and you would be like, okay, this is something I would put my work into. That's the problem with a lot of these one-man bands nowadays. And I'm not talking shit. I'm just being honest. Not talking shit. I'm just saying that I hear a lot of albums that were produced in a really short period of time. And you can tell that they're not going to play it live because it's like something they've thrown together. They ain't going to play it live. So, in my opinion, if you're going to make an album, I know that streaming has made it so much more easier for you to put your music on music platforms and stuff. But if you're going to create an album, you want it to be something that people are going to want to listen to. And I know it's hard for a lot of the metal community because the majority of people do not listen to metal. And that is okay. But the thing is, the people that do listen to metal, they're going to show people that are non-metalheads, and they're going to listen to it, and they're going to hear that it's been polished in a studio, and they're going to think to themselves, wow, this is actually like some pretty decent music. And they're gonna recommend it to other people. I mean, so my answer is definitely, if you're producing an album, do not produce and mix and master it yourself. Always mix and master it by someone else's ears, because if someone else mixes and masters it, they're going to hear things that you do not hear because they have different ears than you do. And if you listen to their work and you know that they know what they're talking about, then they're really going to make those frequencies pop in your music. It's the truth. I hear a lot of decent work by one-man bands, but I also hear a lot of, and I'm to blame too. In the past, I'm to blame for this. In the past, I produced an album by myself, and looking back on it, it's not dimensional at all. It's like very one-dimensional, and it has the same sound throughout the album. There's really no dynamic to it. There's really no soul to it. And the cool thing about like recording to an actual 8-track or some shit, and let's say you're using Easy Drummer or like a DAW type of drummer, or even like the Beat Buddy, like what I've been using lately. If you know how to add fills, you can make that thing sound good. You can make it not robotic. You can make it really sound like there's an actual drummer if you really know how to use it. That's the thing. And that's my biggest goal in music, is to make it so it's not boring. I want the drums to be interesting too. You know what I mean? Like, if you haven't checked out my latest video, you might want to check it out. I promoted the Singular Sound Beat Buddy, and I played a solo on my Ibanez RG, and there were fills that I added to it that made it sound more realistic and less robotic. And that's all I'm saying. It's not as hard as people think it is. Like, that's all I'm saying. It's really not as hard as people think it is. Like, you would think about programming drums and making it sound realistic, and your first thought would be, oh my god, I'm going to have to sit here for hours and type it in. Not if you have a Beat Buddy pedal. It's a simple tap, and you've got a fill. Or it's a simple double tap, and then you end the song, or you hold it, and then it goes into part 2. It's really not as hard as people think it is. Like, these musicians that use like the most generic, loops and whatever. I highly recommend you invest in like a Beat Buddy. I highly recommend you invest in that, because it'll help a lot when it comes to recording, even songwriting too. If you don't have a drummer and you're a one-man project, it's going to help with songwriting too. And then the cool thing is, you can, of course, let's say there's different time signatures. Okay, so record the one part in 4/4, and then find the setting that's in 7/4 and record that on your 8-track. You don't need no DAW to record. I know a lot of people say you need Logic Pro Tools to sound good. Yeah, if you want to get into the studio aspect of it, and if you want to do a hands-on mixing and mastering yourself, that's a good route to go. But like, if you're a one-man band that's trying to just produce something Nah, you don't need to go. You don't need a DAW. All you need is an 8-track recorder. I'm telling you, they've been basically replaced by DAWs, but DAWs are more harder than they actually need to be. An 8-track recorder is fucking straightforward, man. You got 8 tracks, you record 8 tracks, and that's it. I mean, with a DAW, it's like there's so much to learn, and it's like at the end of the day, you learn more about the software than you do about your own